kind of in general, I know you like there's so many different, you were saying like every baby is different and that goes for babies in general, people
Yeah.
in general. But what are some general kind of items that, moms of preemies have to do a little bit differently versus a full-term baby and like overall health or breastfeeding, those kind of things that they should kind of look for.
I think it depends, like we've talked about, it depends on what's going on for the preemie. So if you, let's say I've worked with women who've delivered at, 35 weeks before and baby didn't need any NICU time and they went home just like every other family, maybe with a slightly tinier baby than otherwise, but you from the outside, you couldn't tell. Right. And
Mhm.
so it's possible that at the time of birth and soon after birth, things may not be very different. And you might be able to breastfeed, you might be able to do everything you thought that you wanted to do. And the only difference is you delivered several weeks before your due date. There could be other times when you're in the NICU for a couple of weeks or a month. And in those situations, you're certainly looking at probably pumping for some amount of time until baby is
Mhm.
strong enough and ready to try breastfeeding if that's what you want. You might have to make some decisions, for example, around donor milk if you're not able to produce milk quickly enough or enough for baby, or you choose not to lactate, which is
Mhm.
entirely your decision and totally okay if you decide that. Sometimes, depending on what's going on with the baby's growth, you might have to fortify. So, even if you are producing or you really wanted to breastfeed for the health of the baby, you might have to make decisions about fortifying their feeds, for example. And then again, it depends on what's going on with the baby's health. But after discharge, you may have specialists, pediatric specialists, who you need to follow up with at any kind of intervals. You might have OT, PT, SLPs, you might have cardiologists, nephrologists, neurologists, I mean, any number of things.
Mhm.
Some preemies go home on monitors. So you might be taking your baby home on oxygen, or they might need you to monitor heart rate at home, or you might be going home on a ventilator, something like that. There's a wide range of things. I think what I would say is, as much as possible, don't assume what your baby is going to need at discharge. Because
Mhm.
even if you're in the NICU for a couple of weeks, that baby is changing every single day. It's a brand
Mhm.
new baby every day. And sometimes they just need time. And at some point in their development, things start clicking and they suddenly come off of oxygen, or they're suddenly able to breastfeed when they were taking everything through the NG tube, but up until that point. So
Mhm.
take it really slow. And as things are presented to you and maybe your medical team's going, yeah, no, I think we're going to need to follow up with cardiology after discharge. Okay, now we can add it to our plates. And now let's
Mhm.
open that door and investigate, what does that mean? And what questions do I ask and how often and things like that. So I would suggest, because it is so unknown and so varied, take it really, really slow and
Mhm.
address what's presented to you right in front of you. As much as possible, stay focused there instead of thinking about all the other things that could happen, which again, from a personal level, I totally get how hard that is. And also, if you can do that, it will just save you so much energy as you are, like I said, on this marathon.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I love that analogy about being on a marathon.